Survivor pool chaos as the most selected team loses for a second straight week. Carolina, what happens now? I'm going to ask our bettors who's the most impressive 2-0 AFC team and the most impressive 2-0 NFC team, and much, much more. Coming right on up.
It's time for the Bookie and the Bettors Show. Live from Baldini's Casino. Beat the Bookie. Make every bet count. Reno's #1 sports radio show is now on streaming platforms. Now, introducing the Bookie, Rob Kowalski, and the Bettors, Randy Weig and Nick Schulte.
Welcome back to the show. It is the Bookie and Better. I want to thank you all for joining us. I am your host, Robert Kowalski, joined once again by our bettors and my best friends. Nick Schulte, welcome back.
Hey, Rob.
Randy Weig.
Well, hey, I'm excited this week. But we got to talk about your cruise at some point, you know?
Cruises aside, which I sure would actually love to take one. I guess I'm going to have to wait until after the football season's complete. But no, I did call from the very top of the show. We know nothing, especially us bookmakers. 6 underdogs in the 1 p.m. window, just won outright. That would be a pretty prodigious number, no matter which way you pare it down. Raiders, Bucks, Saints, Vikings, Browns, the Packers on Monday Night Football, the Falcons, all outright winners as dogs.
Well, as a fan, I think as an NFL football fan, you got to like the parity in the NFL right now. I mean, the parity is there. And again, that old philosophy on any given Sunday, another team can beat a good team. So, as a fan, I like it.
We'll probably get to a couple of things that I noticed. Yes, I do go back and I listen to every episode. And so if the both of you think that you're just going to go away scot-free without your records being tracked, you're in for a grand surprise on this episode.
Bring it
gentlemen.
on, baby.
Guys, the Carolina Panthers just told their quarterback, Bryce Young, that this is going to be a short end of your season. After 2 weeks, Bryce Young's no longer the starting quarterback. Andy Dalton, welcome back to a starting role. Randy, let's start with you here. I mean, look, we know we talked about the rookie quarterbacks that were coming in, and they're not having the greatest start ever, but they're rookies. So one might think, actually, that these rookie quarterbacks shouldn't even be playing right now. But such is the league. You need a quarterback, and you need a quarterback to perform basically from day one. Carolina, Randy, is this more Bryce Young just not good, or is this team just really in disarray?
Well, and this is the sad part about it, and I see some of the NFL players are coming out in support of Bryce Young. He's a young quarterback that has had no talent with him. Might be the worst offensive line in the NFL. And unfortunately, you're putting a lot of pressure. He doesn't have anybody around him, and all the blame is going to him. That's the way it is to be a quarterback. But I think you're going to destroy this guy's career this early. And again, last year he had good games and he had bad games, but he doesn't have the supporting cast. And I think this team is desperate. I don't care who's in there. What, they got a 92-year-old quarterback playing this week? I think what's going to happen to him? No mobility whatsoever.
What I've always said, if you don't have an offensive line, especially if you're a rookie quarterback that's not used to the speed of the NFL, it's not a good combination. It's not going to happen. You see the same thing in Chicago right now.
Exactly.
Guy's got probably some talent, but if he's got no time in the pocket to actually evaluate the field. Now, I will say on the Panthers, I'm wondering, do you think that every game he plays, is he hurting his potential trade value? So are they looking at a potential? I mean, clearly he's not the guy, or they got to do something. They haven't been really a competitive team and.
Since McCaffrey was there. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, so I mean, it's time to enter some rebuilding, but they got to get an offensive line. Doesn't matter who they have back there without blocking. It doesn't matter.
I mean, even the teams that have rookie quarterbacks. By the way, I don't know how many combined throws the rookies. Okay, so let's just define the rookie quarterbacks. I'm talking about Daniels, Nix, and Williams. Mm-hmm. So those three still have yet to throw a touchdown pass. Okay, it's almost 200 passes that they've made. No touchdown passes and plenty of interceptions, plenty of mistakes.
Well, Jaden, though, has played fairly well.
Yes, he has.
I mean,
Yes. No,
you look at the rookie quarterbacks, he's probably, I would think he's done the best so far.
He's done the best. He's definitely he's had the best performance. And if actually you take a look, I think he's like 75% a clip rate for his pass rating. I think his percentage is good. Just where's going to be some real...
In the NFL, if you only throw for 115 yards, you're not going to win many games.
No. But back to like what I was saying, look at the O-line of Washington compared to the O-line of Carolina or Carolina of Chicago. It's...
Carolina fans, those famous words come out to play. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Nick, you weren't here last week. I did it. I absolutely freaking finally did it. I went an episode and I snipped it right at the end. I jumped out of my seat so hard when we went off the air.
I'm back.
I got him without saying.
I didn't have my game face last week. I've got it back this week.
I literally jumped out of my seat. I high-fived Chris. I finally did it. I defeated it. The streak was over.
It's back.
Gentlemen, did you watch any baseball this past weekend?
I did.
No, you lie.
No, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
You're making this up.
No, I watched a little bit. Again, you look at the top teams in this major league race right now. You can't bet them. And gosh, don't bet a Sunday game because teams, I don't know what they're doing on Sundays. It's like, I don't know if they're looking forward to the road trip.
They're managing their fantasy teams, probably.
Oh, is that? But, the Baltimore Orioles right now, the Milwaukee Brewers, and unfortunately, Kansas City Royals. I really like Kansas City, but they're doing a Patsy Cline right now, and we're getting down to the end. But, I mean, when you look at Shohei Ohtani, oh, my Lord. I mean, he's going to do 50-50. So you got 2 weeks left.
I'm glad you brought that up. He's got 48 and 49 with 10 games to go going into tonight's games. No one's talking about it. Okay? Generally speaking, globally speaking, no one's talking about it. Greatest performance we've seen in baseball, and no one's talking about it. Not here in the book, not here in any kind of an environment that I know of. Mm-hmm. So what exactly might be going on? Why are we just not seeing any kind of baseball discussion? I still think that we've gotten to a point where this has become a regional sport.
I would agree with that.
I mean, Randy, I wish it was different, but they've done everything they can to fix this game, and still no one's talking about the greatest performance we've ever seen out of a man.
And especially on the West Coast.
Exactly,
I can understand
the
Aaron Judge because
yes, maybe it's right. We talked about Aaron Judge. It's even out here where we're recording on the West Coast, no one's talking about this.
And
I also do think there was some stuff that kind of happened with him at the beginning of the season.
Oh, do tell.
That I mean, something about what was his friend borrowing like $5 million to bet on some games or something. I don't know.
But you let him borrow it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tell that to Pete Rose. So. I think that kind of maybe shied the media away a little bit. I have seen some posts online about it, but you're not getting the same oomph that you would normally see from some of this caliber.
Well, and I know people don't want to hear this, but I'm telling you, this pitch clock. Now, Shohei is a great player. This pitch clock, because pitchers are so worried about the time frame.
Yes, that's right.
There's going to be more stolen bases in Major League Baseball this year than I think in many years past. You see that they're scoring more runs, and Major League Baseball set a record, most blown leads after 5 innings. That's why this pitch clock is contributing to a lot of that.
Yeah, but I do think from a fan's perspective, we want to see more runs. We want to see more actions. Nobody wants to sit on their couch and watch a pitcher's duel, really.
Well, I want to see stolen bases. How about that?
Exactly, yeah. You want to see action.
Well, you haven't seen it since really Ricky Henderson, right?
Right.
I mean,
actually, it's funny you mentioned that. Rock Reigns, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
I think it's Ellie De La Cruz is the first one that's getting close to, doing back-to-back 70 stolen base seasons.
Well, Mike Trout was the talk of Major League Baseball the previous years. This guy is in another world, another league.
When, I'll say this, from a bookmaker's perspective, we see 50-50 out of Shohei Ohtani, and we don't celebrate this as one of the greatest athletic feats of all time.
I agree.
I don't know what else to say about baseball. If you're not going to cheer that in, and I'm not a Dodger fan in any way, if we don't celebrate that.
No, yeah, it's a great accomplishment. Let's move on.
Nick, we've got a 5-piece of AFC teams that are 2-0.
Okay.
Who's the most impressive out of Houston, Buffalo, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Kansas City Chiefs, or the LA Chargers? Who's your most impressive 2-0 start?
I got to go with the Chiefs. I mean, they don't look great, but they find a way to win, and they're winners. And I mean, that three-peat, is in the back of his mind, and I think they got a shot at it. So
It doesn't matter who they have there. It could be
I know.
anyone at wide out.
Yeah,
It could be anyone at running back.
Say what you want about Patrick Mahomes, but I don't think anybody better currently today that's playing the game.
You don't think they got a homer call
That
in the
last
Bengal
game on Sunday, that was a kind of an
homer.
interesting turn of events there at the end.
We can go all day long on calls that have been missed. I know I can go off on calls that have been missed in that Super Bowl last year. But at the end of the day, you can't blame the refs. Your defense put you in that situation. Your offense puts you in that situation. And like I said, when push comes to shove, they find a way to win games, whether that's getting a lucky break here and there. That helps, but they still put themselves in a position to win.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Taylor Swift. If you're watching us today, write in. What is your opinion of the Kansas City Chiefs? Since I know you're drawing up some of the plays now, let us know.
I did see, not to take off a cliff, but did you guys see Travis Kelce's, it's called his X account was mysteriously deleted this morning? But
Why would that be?
I guess he got into a beef with the guy that owns X, so over Miss Swift.
Oh, Lord.
And Mr. Free Speech. I
Chris,
guess isn't so much
Chris,
free
how
speech
do I
when-
get back the last 60 seconds of my life before all of this pain began?
Hey, he
NFL.
started it. I just
The NFL,
Randy-
presented by Taylor Swift.
Randy White, most impressive 2-0 AFC team.
No question, Buffalo. Josh Allen is playing to a level with that team that they have. And again, losing Diggs. I just think right now, you look at that team, they're playoff bound with the way they're playing right now. The LA Chargers, maybe they should have hired Harbaugh in the NFL 2 years earlier before Michigan started getting all these things against them.
Look at Harbaugh's record in the NFL. I mean, he took the Niners, which were garbage for a better part of 2 decades almost,
Right.
and took a team that was garbage to the NFC Championship 4 years. And
Watch
Super Bowl
those
one.
Buffalo Bills.
I like this segment already because we have 3 different choices. I'm picking Houston, actually. Stroud in his second year looks like he's in his 5th year. And by the way, Nico Collins, this kid is really, really good. A giant body, super fast, 50-50 balls constantly coming into his hands. And yeah, by the way, far better improved defense, far better improved running game. Team is for real. We're going to see this team rattle off 10-win seasons every single year for as long as he's a quarterback.
Well, and I do want to say, your East Coast team, you got to like this Neighbors kid. He had 19 targets the other day.
I'm going to go ahead and just let the audience know about my, quote, East Coast team.
Well,
Is
being
that the Jets?
No,
Or
the New York Giants? I mean, Neighbors is the real deal. And you look at and again, not to get off our topics, but you look at the wide receivers in the NFL that are rookies this past week.
Okay.
I mean, Jefferson set a record for 130 yards in 1 quarter. He's right up there with Tyreek as one of the all-time players to do that. And you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., he had a big game. I mean, Marvin
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison
Yeah,
had the 130. But you look at these kids and you say, holy moly. I mean, Harrison was phenomenal against the Rams there. And Neighbors, there's some talent in this NFL. There really is.
Let's go and dovetail perfectly into the NFC. I want to go ahead and talk about your most impressive 2-0 start in the NFC. Randy White, you first. Is it the Minnesota Vikings, the New Orleans Saints, hello, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the Seattle Seahawks? Randy.
Well, I got to, as much criticism as I've given Derek Carr on our show.
Yes, you have. Pretty much every episode.
Yeah.
Even in the offseason.
Yeah.
Even in the offseason.
He's playing like a NFL Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year for sure.
I like the sound of what he said earlier, actually. NFL Player of the Year. So let's just call it MVP. Imagine
Yeah.
what price
Yeah.
you got before the season started on Derek Carr to be MVP.
Oh, Jesus. Astronomical.
Nick, how about you?
I kind of have it down to two teams, but I mean, I think I agree with Randy. The Saints have just kind of been the one that shocked you. I mean, I also like the Bucks, but you kind of thought they were going to be good. I mean, Mayfield, you kind of saw him come on in the playoffs last year, and I mean, he's just kind of a leader. And with the Saints, you kind of didn't know which way they were going to go. And I think coming out and really just destroying Dallas in the way they did last week, nobody saw that coming.
No, and I don't know if you guys watched. Now, granted, it was the Dallas Cowboys. But did you see some of the antics of Carr when they got in the end zone? Mm-hmm. He's a little cocky.
Good.
He's got the little
as it should be.
He's got the Michael Jackson dance going on.
That's right.
He was a little arrogant to some of the fans there in Dallas. But Kamara, anytime you got a guy that's going to score 4 touchdowns,
that helps.
for you.
That helps. And what was that? The first quarter, the first half.
Let's just call it the first half.
Yeah, I mean,
late in the first into the early second.
And same with Harrison too. I want to say he had like 2 touchdowns right off the bat, and then didn't really do much the rest of the game.
Not to go back to Harrison, but the way he was able to, Murray's in the pocket, he's scrambling, and then you see all of a sudden Harrison break away. Like, where were the DBs?
Yeah,
but he came to the quarterback and then made a little juice move and got away. He's good.
It's amazing to see a rookie with that kind of IQ, with that kind of spatial awareness and kind of just finding the open pockets in the zone for sure.
Well, and his dad was in there. Marvin Harrison Sr. was up there in that top 5 for most receiving yards in one quarter. Mm-hmm. Now his kid's in there. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
As you guys wrapped up and both called out the New Orleans Saints as your most surprising 2-0, I would have to agree, but I had the Minnesota Vikings more 0-2 with Sam Darnold, the quarterback, than 2-0. But as it was, the victories came in inopportune times. Look, the schedule is what it is. You have to play the game the way it's supposed to be. So you play the Niners, which were basically dismantled the way we were looking offensively. Pick up a victory, a very good, efficient victory. To me, that would be my surprising NFC.
And it's interesting. You look at the game. Obviously, Jefferson goes down in the third quarter.
Yep.
Sam Darnold looked good. And you would think being in the 49ers system, they knew some of the things he would do, and it didn't work. Yeah.
No, I was very surprised at the outcome of that game. I'll just leave it at that. So I always like to try to find a silver lining, and whenever I looked at that Niners score, I just go and look at the Dallas Cowboys score.
They need Christian McCaffrey back in that lineup.
Yeah, now Debo's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, it looks like. And
well, that line may change even more this week.
And yet another perfect dovetail. As our audience is eagerly waiting this part, let's go ahead right on over the hump and look at week 3. Gentlemen, let's start off with the game that's being played here tonight at the Book at Baldini's. The Patriots at the New York Jets. This game opened about 7, down to 6.5, and now 6. So the Jets 6, the total 38.5. Let's stop right there. Randy, what jumps out for you here in this game?
I like the under a lot. And again, I'm happy for Aaron Rodgers. By the way, you've seen he got the most arrogant NFL player.
Yes, a very meaningful award.
Yeah, yes. big votes there. But I like the under in this game. Again, short week. And again, we'll see how Aaron responds to that as well. Patriots kind of playing above their heads a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see if – I think New York's going to try to control the tempo with the running game and, open it up for Aaron a little bit. I like the under a lot, though.
Nick Schulte?
I just have a gut feeling that this is going to be kind of a statement game for the Jets. So I'm liking the Jets and over on this one. I think they're going to come out and they're going to – you really haven't seen Rodgers really attack the air too much yet. Obviously, I mean, how much time has he really had to kind of work with their system? I mean, played, 2 snaps all last year, So I think week 3 is going to be kind of a breakout week for him. So
Bookmakers Paradise here to start off this segment as I got both of them against each other. To Sunday, the 22nd day of September, the 10 o'clock's first. Gentlemen, the Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have the Steelers 1.5, the total 36. The Bears at the Colts, Indianapolis, anywhere between 1.5 and 2 at Baldini's 1.5 and 43.5.
How are the Bears only giving up 1.5 points?
I knew you would stop me there. We'll come back to you first on that game.
No problem.
The Texans at the Vikings, Houston on the road, a 2-point favorite, the total 46. Giants at Cleveland, the total 6.5, the total, I'm sorry. Let's go with the side. The Browns 6.5 and the total 39. As I just saw that total moved down. Another game, Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints went from a 3-point dog to a 3-point favorite after Monday night's loss. So let's settle in and let's just call it 2.5, the total 49. Denver Broncos at the Tampa Bay Bucks. 6.5 is Tampa, total 41. And then the last 10 o'clock game, the Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans 2.5 and the total 38. Nick, a game here from the 10 o'clock slate that you want to punch a ticket on is?
I really like the Eagles to beat the Saints. I think they're going to come out. I mean, after that Monday night loss, they should have won that game. But, historically speaking, the Saints generally tend to give up the leads in the fourth quarter. So I just think this Eagle team is going to stick around with them. And then, plus you're going to take the Eagles getting points and their health. A.J. Brown's still going to be out, but, they got Saquon and a few other pretty key players.
Offense will never be a problem. You're right. So, absolutely.
Just from a sheer point side, I also, to that point, though, I do think this is going to be kind of a, show us who you really are week for the Vikings. If they can come in and beat the Texans, they're the real deal.
Enough to punch a ticket?
Not quite. I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely will. I will take out a third mortgage on my house for the Colts.
Dangerous game.
Beating the Browns.
Hold on. Wait a second. Wait. Because everything's documented at this point. Yeah. Eagles plus 2.5. You're going to pass on the Vikings. However, what are we saying here with the Colts?
I think the Colts are going to destroy the Bears. They're going to win by 7 easily.
Win by 6. Well,
they haven't played well so far the first 2.
You're going to get a very good piece of your pie. So you're laying the 1.5.
Oh,
I can put that down. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Randy White, what jumps at the 10 o'clocks?
Well, I like 3 games here. I really do. I think that Texans-Viking game is going to be a great game. And as you mentioned, Houston's playing for real. Sam Darnold. And who's going to give? That Texans defense is pretty tough, but they're not that tough on the road. Totally different team than they are when they play at home. So it'll be interesting on that one. I like the Chargers-Steelers. I love Tomlin. I think he's done a fantastic job at the helm of the Steelers. And now you got Harbaugh back in there. This game might end up 10-7. I just want to tell you guys that. It might end up 10-7.
Are you handing out under 36
I'm
points?
handing out unders on this game. And then, obviously, like you said, the Eagles-Saints from the marquee value. New Orleans is rocking all the time. They are going to be going crazy this week with the Eagles coming in.
So that's just a general comment. I need tickets, Randy. I need tickets. You gave me Chargers under 36. Give me a play here.
Well,
with this.
I like the Eagles this week. I think they're going to bounce back. I love what Barkley's doing right now, running the ball.
And dropping passes when they matter most.
No, but I'm telling you, he's going to.
Yeah, I felt bad.
I like the way. If you noticed the other night running the ball in that first half, he was good. Some of the elusive moves he did. They're coming off a loss. Great teams don't lose 2 in a row. I like the Eagles here.
Well, just remember what happened when the Eagles lost the Niners. Was it last year? And then went on a skid for the next 4 games. But
1 p.m. slates.
I agree with you, though. I do think I do think the Eagles are going to win this game.
That's my pick of the week, actually, is the Eagles this week.
I heard a whole lot of mortgages, third mortgages. Yep. I heard
Honey, the stash.
I heard
the stash fund.
Right. The
I need to get in the stash
fund. Of lines are coming right now.
I got to pay out the second mortgage for that Ravens pick. So.
I feel confident. Give me some stash money.
1 p.m. slate. The Carolina Panthers are at the Raiders. The Raiders, this line has moved pretty drastically. We are at 7, down to 6, and now 5 at the Book of Baldini's. The total is 40. Miami Dolphins going to be short a key player in Tua Tagovailoa. I could go ahead and edit that out, right? Tagovailoa. The Seahawks, 4.5. The total, 42.5. The Lions, a 3-point favorite on the road in Arizona. The Baltimore Ravens at Dallas as a 1-point favorite. I could definitely see that game going pick. And then the last of the ones, San Francisco at the LA Rams. The Niners, 6.5 is pretty much where everyone's at right now. The total, 43. Randy, you first.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, will the Dolphins go after Ryan Tannehill? Because he's out till week 8, right?
Skylar Thompson is the quarterback, and they've already tapped on the door of Tannehill. And
they have. Okay.
Not Miami. I'm saying that from what I've read and listened to, Tannehill's going to take the best offer for him So wherever that may place him in the best position, that's where he's going to go.
Because
Miami
really,
does make sense.
Yeah, it does. He's been there before.
He's got some weapons.
He's got some weapons to play with. I'm just shocked on that. But with that being said, again, you got to like 49er Ram games. I get pumped up for those. Again, the Rams being 0-2 and have played horrific the first 2 weeks. I thought even against the Lions, they had some chances that they let go there.
Yeah, they were winning the game.
I like that. And then obviously the Ravens-Cowboys is the marquee game of the day. This one here, you got Dallas, one of the top worst 3 teams against the rush, and you got Baltimore, one of the worst teams against the pass. I love the over in this game. This game might be 37-34. But my play of the second half is I do like the Rams to cover the 7.5.
You're going to not get 7.5.
What am I getting?
You're
now?
getting 6.5. Are you still pushing that ticket?
I'm still pushing the Rams.
And is that it? You did say something about the Ravens game.
I love the over. And again, honey, I need that stash fund because I feel lucky with the Eagles and then parlaying that maybe to the over.
This is why this is such an incredible show. We're talking about stashes. We're talking about luck. Yeah. Luck, not handicapping, not actually doing X's and O's.
Well, no, I want to bet the house, the kids, the car, the dogs.
Ravens over 48.5 is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Nick Schulte.
I really like the Raiders over the Panthers this week. I just think, after their huge upset last week, this is kind of one of those games where we want to, it should be it's never an easy win, but it should be an easier win in the NFL playing the Panthers with, obviously a new quarterback coming out and everything there. And you really want to keep that momentum going. So I think they have no problem covering that 5 points.
You're getting a very good discount here because if we did this show just one day earlier, it would have been 6. I don't know if that would have made a difference. No. 6, or even if it was going to be 7, that may have pushed you up. But at 5, enough to bite.
Easily.
One thing I will say with this 49er team, and again, these guys that hold out for money, and I'm not naming names.
We all know who you're talking about.
But he hasn't performed at all. And I don't even know was he in the second game? Did he play against the Vikings?
I think he got like two catches.
Lord help me.
Yep.
That 4-headed monster of the 49ers is a 2-headed monster right now.
And he's the third down guy for the Niners. And he converted, I think last year, 80% of third down plays went through him, and he converted them. And without him playing at that level, and that's why you're seeing him go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And I'm never going to bet against my team, but I would agree that 6.5. Usually, historically, if the Niners have Debo on their team, Debo destroys the Rams. Without Debo, it's a field goal game.
Like I say, this game is really, if the Rams lose, and again, not to go against the Niners verbally, but if the Rams lose, they're 0-3, and they're pretty much out of it.
Right, I'd say.
So this is a do-or-die game for Stafford. And I don't know, is Pakua still out?
He's out.
Yeah, the starting 2 wide receivers are out.
Kupp is out.
Kupp and Nakua are both not
playing.
I
know that's going to be a factor.
So who does he have to throw to?
I don't know. Randy White's coming out of retirement. 5'9", 275 run.
Final 3 games, mercifully. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons are going to be playing Sunday night. The Chiefs are up to 3 now, the total 46.5. And on Monday night, we get a pair of games. So Jacksonville first at 4:30 p.m. The Buffalo Bills 5.5, the total 45.5. And the Washington Commanders are playing at Cincinnati. The Bengals 7.5 and the total 47. Nick, of those 3, got anything that you'd like to push forward with?
I like the Jaguars with the points. I just kind of don't. I hear what Randy was saying earlier, but Bills are one of those teams. You take away Josh Allen from that offense, they don't really have anybody. And I think once defensive coordinators really kind of figure out a way to shut him down, it's going to really limit some of their options. So I like the Jaguars. I also like the Falcons with the points as well.
Excellent. So I've got you with Jags plus 5.5 and the Atlanta Falcons plus 3 after beating Philly on the road. They get to go home and play Kansas City, catching 3. Your timing is actually excellent because that just moved from 2.5 to 3. So excellent capping of the number as we get it. So I got you down for Eagles plus 2.5, Colts minus 1.5, the Raiders minus 5, Jags plus 5.5, and then the Falcons plus the 3. Randy White, take us home with the evening slate and Monday
I love
night.
Kansas City here. Again, short week for Atlanta. And again, let's not forget, Monday night was an emotional win for this Falcon team. It is tough to bounce back. Now, granted, they're at home, and they're going to have, the fan base will be heavy in their direction. I don't see them peaking for 2 weeks in a row against two quality teams. I like Kansas City a lot here. Talking about Monday night, I wasn't even really looking at the Bills-Jaguar game. I love the Bengals. And Rob, you talk about this past week and where we are through week 2. Who would have thought the Ravens would be 0-2, Bengals would be 0-2, and then you look at the Rams at 0-2. Where are we in the NFL? I had, if you remember in our original discussion, I had both the Bengals and the Ravens going almost to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, didn't we talk about the Ravens having the best schedule for the year? So, I mean, it's... but like we said the first week, I mean, it really does take a good 3-4 weeks to really see which teams are going to come out, which teams are kind of lagging behind, and I mean, the injury factors is a constant. So.
Well, and I not to hammer on it, but the Raiders' defensive front against Lamar, oh my Lord, Crosby to me got MVP.
Oh, 100%.
He was an animal. They don't have Kuntz who's on IR, and I'll tell you another rookie that has impressed the heck out of me is Brock Bowers for the Raiders. He's a beast. And, he seems to get open. So I'm a little shocked after the first 2 weeks if you look at those teams and you say, wow, they're all 0-2. And again, back to the point I made earlier. This third week of the season, you go 0-3, it's going to be tough to bounce, even to get a wild card spot.
It's an uphill battle.
This is why I love what I do. And you see, friends of the show, this is how easy it is to be a bookmaker sometimes. I'm just having them right here captively. Haven't even talked about it. One's taking Atlanta plus 3. The other one's laying 3 with Kansas City. It's that easy. It really is. Sometimes it's just that easy.
Honey, I need that stash fund. Again, this is my third request. So get the money ready. We could be taking a cruise with whatever we're going to do.
Randy White is playing more games in week 3 than in any of the 2 previous weeks combined.
I got to.
The Chargers under 36, the Eagles plus 2.5, the Rams plus 6.5, the Ravens over 48.5, Kansas City minus 3, as we just mentioned, and then the Bengals minus 7.5. So, as I started at the start of the show, just how are the bettors doing? I've tracked you all. Oh. Yes, I do go back and I watch these episodes, and I denote how everyone's done.
I just heard you're keeping receipts. So.
I am keeping receipts. So, Randy's record in week 1, you had 3 wins and a push. In week 2, 3 wins and 3 losses. So, 7-3-1 is a very, very good start to 2 weeks. Now, I do also want to point out that in week number 2, you said, and I quote, and you could roll it right back. I saw exactly how he said it. You said, Rams big. Thank you. Yes, you did it right there. You see, you even said it. Big.
Turn out the lights, party's over. Yeah, but.
There's no buts. You are 7-3-1, and you are done with this particular part of the segment without speaking. Right. This is not a speaking part. Nick Schulte. Yes, you enjoyed a beautiful time away, which is excellent, but we do have you on your Survivor pick. We did capture that, and we're going to get to that in just a little moment. Hey, even with your unofficial picks, you're 2-0 officially. Going back to week 1, Saints, you said we're going to come out big against the Panthers. They did exactly that. And you had Tampa laying 7, which was another big W. You also said, because you couldn't help it, it's just the way you are, your fiber is built. You said San Francisco to cover and over, which was, by the way, 3.5 and 43.5. Unofficially, landed 51. I'm going to give you the 2-0, even though you gave it like an unofficial push. But 2-0 is also a great start to your handicapping season. It's Survivor time, gentlemen. So much chaos as, again, most of the selected teams in weeks 1 and 2, straight out losers. So where are we at? Most pools today do not look very healthy. Many, many entries are already out after week 2. However, if you were just to listen to both Nick and Randy, you're very, very much alive.
Money in the bank.
Money is in the bank.
Stick with me.
The entries are still live. Who have they used? Well, both Nick and Randy, despite them not being together during week number 2, happened to pick the same way both ways through. So their map is very, very similar. Both took the Saints in week 1. Both took the Texans in week number 2. Let us now pour over week number 3's survivor pick. Nick, you first.
I'm going with Raiders.
You did say laying the 5, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
If it was even 6 and 7, I know you're obviously going to be choosing them as a team to move on.
As a Niners fan, any Niners fan knows you're not a big fan of the Raiders, but I kind of feel like with their head coach and the system they have down there and Crosby on defense and Adams on offense, they actually might have a system that might work for them for
not even concerned at
decades.
all. I'm so sorry about it. I apologize for stepping over your thought, but no concerns at all about Andy Dalton as a massive upgrade to their offense.
When's the last time he took a snap? We were talking about Brandon Ayuk, missing OTAs, and I mean, you think he's just going to come in there and learn the system, and you're going to go up against Max Crosby, and that's going to work out well for you, right?
This guy has red hair. There's nothing wrong with that. Is he 92? He's been playing in the league since when they didn't have the chin strap.
Well, he was the quarterback for the Bengals,
Baseman.
right, before Burrow. Burrow came in the league in 19, 20?
Okay.
It's the Raiders for Nick Schulte. That's definitely a degree of difficulty attached to it. I have to admit.
Let me tell you.
Well, I'm also, again, looking from a survivor standpoint.
Yes,
how much
exactly.
value does the Raiders have for the rest of the season?
This might be their largest.
Yeah. So
Let me tell you, Wilkins and Crosby, and when they get Kuntz back, this defense for the Raiders is the real deal.
Yeah.
We're talking about this coming Sunday, though.
They're at home. They're coming off of emotional great win against a big time team, and I really think it's going to be a make or break week for them. If
Raiders,
if they can pull off a win here, I think they might get some momentum and maybe make a wild card this year. But we'll see what happens.
But I like it.
Perfect timing, Randy White. Who are you going with?
Well, I think I mentioned before the show when we were talking to the agendas today. I love the Cleveland Browns this week. I don't know why, but I love the Browns. Again, I'm trying to, the cool thing about Survivor is once you use them, you can't go back to them.
Yes.
So you want to save who you think the cream of the crop is, but the cream of the crop hasn't really got to the top yet. And I like the Bengals this week, but I'm going to stick with the Cleveland Browns. Do not let me down at home. Myles Garrett and those guys don't.
What has Watson even done this year?
He won at Jacksonville, so give him a bounce back for that.
Okay.
I cannot even comment on this because there might be a personal interest in this game that I can't discuss from a non-bookmaking perspective. Gentlemen, I wish you very well. I want you all to continue this streak of yours that you're on.
You don't think Nabler's going to come out and just have the game of his life?
He just did say Malik Neighbors, Rookie of the Year.
When you get 19 targets in a game, you're the real deal.
Yeah.
This is a great week.
You think Daniel Jones was actually throwing to him all 19 times, or it just kind of happened that way?
Well, I don't know. Did Daniel throw 64 passes?
No, that was somebody.
Oh. Okay, well, I was just checking.
Maybe combined on the season.
Oh, okay. This is a great week, Rob, and it really is. I see do or dies for, really 4 teams this week. And then you look at the surprise teams, and to your point, will they continue rolling into week 4? So the NFL has to be happy. The fan base is saying all of the teams, the parity in the NFL makes this season so far look like one of the best.
And that's a week 3 episode in the books. To finish off, once again, it was Nick picking the Las Vegas Raiders for his survivor selection in week 3. Randy takes the Cleveland Browns. Gentlemen, I wish you the very best. I hope the oblong ball bounces in your direction for all of your selections. For everyone
stash fund
that is listening, whether you're catching us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, or right here on YouTube, thank you so much again for joining us. Once again, Can't wait to see you all back out here at the Book at Baldini's. Enjoy your weekend. See you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to The Bookie and the Better Show. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and be the first to know when new episodes drop. Hit that subscribe button and join us.